Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I am Bob Salas. I am the Director of Neighborhood and Family Services for the City of San Angelo. And we're here tonight to get input from you, the citizens, on our proposed 5-year consolidated plan for use of federal grant funds. I have a short presentation, and then we'll try and answer some of your questions and concerns. And by the way, you can enter your comments and questions at the chat box at any time during the presentation. The city receives 2 major HUD grants. The larger and oldest of the 2 is the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG. And you can see by some of the eligible activities that the grant is rather flexible. We can use the funds for rehabilitation of residential and non-residential structures, construction of public facilities and improvements, such as water and sewer facilities, streets, neighborhood centers, school buildings, those kind of things. You can use it for public services within certain limitations. You can use it for activities related to energy conservation and renewable energy resources. And you can use it for economic development and job creation and retention. While CDBG is very flexible, the home grant must be used for housing or housing-related activities, such as tenant-based rental assistance, housing rehabilitation, assistance to home buyers, and new home construction. In our last 5-year plan, which will end this year on September 30th, we established 4 main objectives: neighborhood revitalization, increasing affordable housing stock, addressing special needs, elderly and disabled, and expanding home ownership. All of our programs were developed to address these objectives. The annual Blitz, emergency housing repair, and code compliance actions support our revitalization objective. Our Chodo new home construction supports our affordable housing stock objective. We address special needs via our tenant-based rental assistance, or TBRA. And we help to expand home ownership with our first-time home buyers program. Now, we are recommending to continue these main goals and objectives for the next 5 years. This slide shows the programs we have funded over the years. The Neighborhood Blitz is an annual event where we partner with community volunteers to replace old deteriorated siding, and then we paint the home in certain selected neighborhoods, which are targeted for revitalization. The Homeless Prevention Program helps keep families in homes who are at risk of becoming homeless. Emergency Housing Repairs helps with repairs of homes experiencing conditions that risk health and safety, and which occurred relatively recently. We also demolish substandard structures in homes, and we fund a code compliance officer to help maintain standards in selected neighborhoods. On the other side, on the home side, we help with down payment and closing costs for first-time home buyers. We fund a community housing development organization, or CHODO, to build new homes. And we help with rent and for special needs clients. Now, unfortunately, our funding in the past 15 years has been steadily declining, with a small bump in 2018 and 19. This decline has forced us to eliminate several programs to include public services. So we made the conscious decision to focus on housing and housing-related programs only. While we may see some small increases occasionally, we expect the downward trend to continue in the future. And so, of course, we'll have to adjust accordingly. You see it? I don't see anything from Brian. Here is the proposal for the 2020 CDBG program, which is the first year of a 5-year plan. We'll be asking for $116,000 for admin assistance. We'll be asking for $112,000 for program delivery. We'll be asking for $168,000 for Neighborhood Blitz, $125,000 for emergency repairs, and $139,000 for payment, debt payment services. And here's a proposal for our home grant program. We'll be asking for $30,000 for home administration, $117,397 for first-time home buyers assistance, $75,000 for MHMR, tenant-based rental assistance, and $135,000 for Galilee CDC total set-aside for a total of $357,000. Now, that's basically the presentation. What we'd like to do now is kind of take your comments and questions and try to answer them as they come up. And understand that what we want is a free-flowing series of ideas and what you think we need to see here in San Angelo with these grant funds. With the understanding, let me go back to the eligibility, okay? Just to give you an idea. For CDBG, again, these are some of the things that we can do. We have chosen to focus on housing because of the decline in funding, but these are eligible activities. If for some reason the city determines that we really need funding for public services, that's something we need to look at. If there's something that you, for example, homelessness prevention, you want something like that, we have to kind of look at that as a potential project. And the home side, again, tenant-based rental assistance, housing rehabilitation, assistance to home buyers, and new home construction. All those things, again, are eligible, but we try to focus on housing so we can meet our objectives. And again, these objectives are neighborhood revitalization, making our neighborhoods clean, successful, and beautiful, increasing affordable housing stock. As you know, we had a recent study on the lack of affordable housing in San Angelo. And so some of the things, some of the funding, we always recommend using some of our funding to increase this housing stock, the affordable housing stock. And of course, addressing special needs, MHMR, elderly disabled, domestic violence victims, those kind of things. And of course, expanding home ownership, new homes, getting people into new homes. So at this point, I will see if there's any questions or concerns, and I'll try to answer them best I can. Mari, do we have any questions?
No.
No questions. Do we have any comments?
Okay. Can you please begin from the beginning? You weren't live.
Okay. What's live? Okay.
Brian said it was on list.
All right. Okay, it turns out that I was not live, and I'm going to try to do this again. Luckily, I had a nice little practice. So let me kind of get my thoughts back together and kind of start this presentation again. Again, good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Bob Salas. I am the Director of Neighborhood and Family Services. And we're here tonight to get input from you, the citizens, on our proposed 5-year consolidated plan for use of federal grant funds. I have a short presentation, and then we'll try to answer some of your questions and concerns. And by the way, you can enter your comments and questions in the chat box at any time. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Okay, we do receive 2 major HUD grants. The larger and the oldest of the 2 is the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG. And you can see by some of the eligible activities that this grant is rather flexible. We can use the funds for rehabilitation of residential and non-residential structures, construction of public facilities and improvements, such as water and sewer facilities, streets, neighborhood centers, conversion of school buildings for eligible purposes. We can use the funds for public services with certain limitations. Activities relating to energy conservation and renewable energy sources and economic development and job creation. Those are some of the eligible activities with CDBG. Now, on the home side, it's less flexible. The home grant must be used for housing, or housing-related activities only, such as tenant-based rental assistance, housing rehabilitation, assistance to home buyers, and new housing construction. In our last 5-year plan, which will end this September, we established 4 main objectives. One being neighborhood revitalization, increasing the affordable housing stock, addressing special needs, and expanding home ownership. All of our programs were developed to address those objectives. The Blitz, the emergency housing repair, and co-compliance action support our Revite objective. New home construction program supports the increase of the affordable housing stock. We address special needs via our tenant-based rental assistance, or TBRA. And we helped expand home ownership with our first-time home buyers assistance program. And we are recommending continuing these main goals and objectives for the next 5 years. And Mari, how are we doing? Is it getting, it's coming through?
Yes.
Okay. This slide shows the programs we have funded over the years. The Neighborhood Blitz is an annual event where we partner with community volunteers to replace old deteriorated siding and paint those homes in certain selected neighborhoods, it's neighborhoods that we target for revitalization. The Homeless Prevention Program helps keep families in homes who are at risk of becoming homeless. Emergency housing repairs helps with repairs of homes experiencing conditions that risk health and safety and which occurred relatively recently. We also demolish substandard structures, and we fund a code compliance officer to help maintain standards in selected neighborhoods. On the home side, we help with down payment and closing costs for first-time home buyers. We fund a community housing development organization to build new homes, and we help with rent of special need clients. Unfortunately, our funding in the past 15 years has steadily declined, although we did have a small bump in 2018 and 19. This decline was forced us to eliminate several programs to include public services. So we made a conscious decision to focus on housing and housing-related programs only. And you can see by some of the things we've done in the past, that's what we've done. While we may see some small increases occasionally, we expect the downward trend to continue in the future, and we'll have to adjust accordingly, unfortunately. The next 2 slides deal with the coming year, the fiscal year 2020. We do have to present these proposals to council for their approval and then to HUD for their approval each year of the 5 years. Here's a proposal for the 2020 CDBG program. And again, this is the first year of the 5-year plan. We'll need admin at $116,000, program delivery at $112,000, neighborhood blitz $168,323, emergency repairs $125,000, and debt payment services for a Section 108 loan, which we took out several years back at $139,339. And that's the proposal that's going to be going to council unless we change that from your input we get tonight. And here's the proposal for the home grant program. Well, again, admin for $30,000, a little over $30,000. First-time home buyers assistance program at $117,397. TBRA, $75,000, and total set aside $135,000. And that's basically it for the presentation. And now we'd like to kind of hear from you. Let's see if we have any questions or concerns. I will turn over to Ms. Mari, my staff member here, and see if there's any questions.
There's no questions, just comments.
We do have some comments. Thank you for that.
Katie Crumley, she is the new supported housing coordinator for MHMR.
Okay.
She says that they currently have over 100 individuals on the waiting list.
Okay. So the proposal is that we would increase funding for those kind of programs.
Yes.
Okay.
Erica Brown said, Katie Crumley commented again that the TBRA program has significantly helped the clients and has shown a reduction in crisis services for those individuals.
Excellent. Well, we can certainly take a look at that. Like I said, we do earmark some funding for TBRA every year, and we'll continue doing that for the near future. We may be able to increase it based on the need.
Erica Brown says, I think you should spend funds on affordable housing and keep doing the same thing we've been doing.
Okay, well, thank you for that. We do appreciate those comments. We, like I said, housing is important. Affordable housing is very important. And with this COVID-19, we've seen that there's going to be some problems in the future. You may not know this, but currently we have, it has nothing to do with the 5-year plan, but we do have some funding available to us from the CARES Act, which provides rent and mortgage assistance for those who have lost their jobs or their hours were cut severely due to COVID-19 during the restrictions. So keep that in mind as you try to navigate through our website and some of the other things that we provide.
Sharon Troy said, Bob, can you talk about how much funding will be set aside for homeless prevention and how the funds will be directed?
Okay, right now we don't have plans to do homeless prevention. With your comment, though, it seems to me that that's something we need to look at. We could earmark some money for that program. It's very successful, by the way. We had it 2 years ago. We earmarked, I think, 80,000. I think we 80,000, and we ended up using that money. The way that works, just for FYI for the audience, we take individuals who have lost their job or something happened, some kind of crisis, not necessarily lost their job, but they had a crisis. They lost income, they're about to get evicted. We can come in and put a stop hold on that, provide funding to get them for the next 3 months as they get through their crisis. Someone's perhaps, they lost someone, a main income earner from the family. That's one thing. Injuries, those kind of things. So it was very productive. We ran out of money, unfortunately, but we may be able to look at that. And it's kind of close to my heart too, being part of the Homeless Coalition. So we'll certainly take a look at that too. Thank you. Thank you for your comment.
Richard Rodriguez, the military peer service coordinator with MHMR, says one problem we have experienced is that landlords or property managers don't want to rent to individuals with mental illness. Is there a way that the Public Housing Authority could encourage the property managers and landlords to rent to these individuals and homeless individuals?
Well, we could certainly bring that up to the San Angelo Housing Authority. We have a great relationship with them. We discuss, programs that we can consolidate, we can work together with. And there's, so I'll bring that up to her and I'll see if there's something we can do. We here in San Angelo, the city doesn't have authority, but the Housing Authority may have some.
That's all the comments.
Okay. All right. Well, feel free to, if you have additional comments, feel free to send them to where? Housing?
Yeah, housing.
Send it to housing@cosatx.us, and we will take those comments and incorporate them into our proposal. And we'll be going to council in about a month or so, and you'll have another chance to make your comments then as well. And then it gets to council again for the approval of the annual action plan before it goes to HUD. So we have a couple more times for citizens to provide input. Hope we have another one.
Sharon Troy says it's great that we have had additional affordable accessible housing built. What are the current plans for additional affordable housing being built?
Sharon, great question. We have one of the things that one of the tools in the toolbox is what we call the low-income housing tax credit program, and we support that every year. It comes through my office. We vet the applications, and we go to council for their support. These are programs that are funded through the state, but they need local support, and that's where I come in, and that's where we have we try to get council support with letters of resolutions of support, that kind of thing. We haven't had anyone contact us this year, but again, that could change. With the cycle starts in October and it runs through March. I know we did have a contest, in fact, Kirby Park is one of those tax credit projects. We have one, Glen, over there on Chadburn and Cristobal Road is being built right now. That's a tax credit project. We just had one finished over there near, right near on Concho. It's for elderly, and it's a beautiful location, beautiful, beautiful homes. These are kind of duplexes. So yeah, absolutely, Sharon. We're always constantly looking for partners to increase affordable housing stock at all times. And by the way, there's one that's up in the north side of town too, over there near Lakeview. That's not necessarily a tax credit, it's a special tax credit project. And we went to them to council last year, and I think they'll be starting building here sometime this summer. So, and we'll continue doing that, continue supporting these. But you're right, affordable housing is an incredible need here in San Angelo. We had a 5-year plan. I'm sorry, there was a housing study conducted through I think the Development Corporation sponsored it. And one of the first things they said was there is a lack of affordable housing. Not surprisingly, of course. So we'll continue doing that. Thank you.
That's all. Okay,
in that case, again, like I said, please submit your comments to housing at housing@costatx.us, and they'll take those into consideration. And that's all I have. Thank you.